As we chat to you about what's cooking as far as the world of sports is concerned, been a lot of Yankees and the Red Sox this first hour. They obviously begin a 3-game series tonight at Yankee Stadium. If you look at the two teams right now, Boston, off the great beginning, is still 25-9. They were 17-2, so they were essentially 8-7 in their last 15 games. They did beat Texas 3 out of 4 over the weekend. They did pitch Sale on Sunday, so he will not pitch against the Yankees this week. I think they're trying to take it easy with Sale against the Yankees. You know, Sale's a high-strung guy who puts a lot of effort into every start, and he probably, you know, maybe he overdid it last year a couple times against the Yankees. He pitched very well against the Yankees. He just was snake bit, and maybe they felt that contributed to his staleness the last, say, 10, 12 starts of the year. Remember, he did not pitch great from mid-August on, and it was not great in the playoff game. And I think they kind of wore him out. So I think they're trying to keep him away from every Yankee Red Sox game this early in the season. So that's why I think they did it this way. He pitched Sunday in Texas, so he doesn't go this week. But they are 8-7 since that 17-2 start. The Yankees are 9-9. They were 9-9. Now they're 24-10. Do the math. That is 15-1. If you want to make a big deal about it, Torres is like the first player since 1900 to win 15 of his first 16 games as a major league starter. If they care about that, you can find a statistic for everything, and they found that for Torres, who hit the home run on Sunday the other day. Here's the amazing thing about the Yankees is that the Yankees, you know, they were not playing great, but they beat the Blue Jays 3 out of 4. The Blue Jays are over 500. All right, they buried the Twins, which they always do, but they still beat them, and the Twins were a playoff team last year, and they won 4 in a row against Minnesota. Then they went to Anaheim, polished them off 3 straight. Then they went to Houston, beat them 3 out of 4, and then they played the Indians at home and won 3 straight. So they played, think about it for a minute. They played Toronto, who currently right now is 19-16. They played Minnesota, who's going to win today. They're 2 games under 500, who were a playoff team a year ago. Then they played the Angels. We all know about the Angels. They have had a good year. They're in first place at 21-13. Then they went to Houston. We know about the Astros. And then they played the Indians, who are in first place. Despite 17-17, the Indians won 22 in a row last year. They're in first place. So the Yankees have done it against good competition, which is very, very impressive. Now, you know, again, I may have tweaked people early by saying that Stanton would never hit, and Boone is a young manager, and Sonny Gray is this, and I understand that might come back to haunt me because I never in 1 second did I think the Yankees were not going to be a big-time team. Remember, I had the Yankees as the best team in baseball the first day of spring training. Let's not forget that. So I always knew how good the Yankees were going to be. And the Yankees right now, I'd be very surprised if the Yankees don't win 2 out of 3 this week at home. Now, the Yankees and the Orioles and the Red Sox, it's Pomerantz Severino tonight. It is David Price and Tanaka tomorrow, and then it's Sabathia and Porcello on Thursday. So the Yankees gave Severino a break, and he doesn't pitch this week either. So I think sometimes both managers try to downplay this a little bit and not go too crazy. And, you know, give their pitchers a little bit of a blow with these high, intense games. And I had Torre on, as I said today, on the TV show, and he said the very interesting thing about, I had never heard anybody say that before, about Millar going out to talk to Mariano before he faced Millar in the 9th inning of Game 4, leading off the inning with the Yankees with a 1-run lead, and Joe thought he should have gone out there just to tell him to attack the hitter, don't get too cute. Everything else, leading off the inning, and he didn't do that, and he rused that day. That's the first time I've ever heard Joe say that. And the other thing that Joe said that I was not aware of, he said that him and Francona used to text all the time during the course of the season, and he used to, him and Francona, tell each other how happy they were that the Yankee Red Sox, that particular series was over with, and they're going to deal with all the pressure for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And I've never heard Joe say that him and Francona had a texting relationship in the course of a year, like they did say in 2004 and beyond. And Joe also said what we all expected anyway when he talked about the Yankee Red Sox from his standpoint. Hey, folks, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. In my life as a Yankee manager, I had to beat 3 teams: Tampa, the Mets, and the Red Sox. That's it. I had to win those games. I had to beat Tampa because George lived in Tampa. I had to beat the Mets, and I had to beat the Red Sox. So I had to treat those games almost a little differently than I had to treat some of the other games on our schedule because I had to deal with the owner who was going to have a conniption if we somehow lost. So I thought that was relatively interesting. Joe also said that when he grew up in the 50s, Joe grew up in Brooklyn, and he was a huge Giant fan, which in that borough is, those guys are hard to find in the 50s as a huge Giant fan as Torre was. And Torre said over and over again, when he was growing up in the 50s and he caught the tail end of DiMaggio, he was 10 when DiMaggio got himself started. Finished his career, I should say, so he caught the tail end of Joe D. Joe said many a time that in the 50s, the Yankees and Red Sox were not a big deal. Red Sox weren't good enough. You got to remember, folks, the Red Sox in the 50s stunk. I mean, they were basically a 500 team. They were very good for about a 4 or 5 year period. They got to the World Series in 46. They should have won the pennant in 48, but Williams had a bad elbow. They should have beaten the Yankees in 49, and they were very good in 50. And then Ted goes to Korea, and that's the end of it. And that's the end of the Red Sox for a long period of time. You don't even hear about the Red Sox until 1967. And the Yankees were horrendous in 1967. And Joe said, growing up in the 50s, all you cared about when the Yankees played the Red Sox is how Williams was going to do against Mantle. He didn't really care about the Yankees, and he didn't care about the Red Sox. The Yankees, always won, and the Red Sox were always in the second division. People don't realize that. People who are a little younger don't get that sense about the Yankees and the Red Sox as they do, say, who grew up, a little later. Because if you grew up in the 70s, the Yankees and the Red Sox are a big deal, as we discussed already today. Fights, Piniella, Munson and Fisk, that was always a great comparison. They had a fight at Fenway Park. The game was not on TV, by the way. They had a fight, of course, at Yankee Stadium at the plate. The 77, the 78. I mean, that's baseball. Red Sox won in 75. Yankees won in 76. That's baseball. That's baseball. But you didn't have that. For the 50s and 60s, that was not a factor. The Yankees and Red Sox were never together in a pennant race in the 60s. Think about that for a minute. Never. They went a whole decade. I'll go one step further. From the Korean War to the Vietnam War, and almost through it, the Yankees and Red Sox were never good at the same time. Think about that. Nowadays, you say that, you go, great, really? Is that true? Yes, that's true. They were never good at the same time. And if you go to the turn of the century, if you want to go that far back, the Red Sox were a dominant team the first 15, 20 years of the World Series. They were dominant. I don't know how many they won. They won 5 or 6 World Series. I mean, they were dominant. They had great pitching. Tris Speaker, Ruth, they were dominant. Dominant. Then the idiot, the owner, sells Ruth off to the Yankees, and the Red Sox never turned around and got good again. And then the Yankees with Ruth went to 7 World Series. They only won 4 of them, but they went to 7 World Series. And then the Red Sox got Grove and Jimmy Fox, and they had Williams, so they always hit the hit the heck out of the ball, but they were never great in the late 30s. They never could beat DiMaggio. And then obviously Fox retires, Grove is shot, Williams comes into his own, and then the Red Sox get Dom DiMaggio, Bobby Doerr, they get Vern Stevens. I mean, they get a lot of good off. They get a lot of good. They hit 1 million home runs. They are a Rudy York. I mean, they get 1 million guys. But the Red Sox, they also got Joe McCarthy. Remember that McCarthy left the Yankees after he left the Yankees after 46, I believe. Bucky Harris took over 47, 48, and McCarthy then managed the Red Sox. But so the Red Sox for that period there in that 6-7 year window, they should have won a couple of World Championships. They came to Yankee Stadium in 1949 up by a half a game. They should never have lost. They had 2 games, they lost them both. 1949. That's the great book that Halberstam wrote, The Summer of 49. Great book. Did a hell of a job. And they should never have lost both those games. And they were winning the first game in 3-0 in the middle innings. And the Yankees won both. And the Red Sox should have won that pennant. 49. Should have won. So the Red Sox should have won a World Series in 46. The Red Sox should have won the pennant in 48. They lost to the Indians in a 1-game playoff. The Indians then won the whole thing. And they should have won the pennant in 49, and they could have won the pennant in 50. If you look at the 50 Red Sox, as a matter of fact, I'll take a look. I got it right in front of me. I can't go by Eddie. You don't know who the Red Sox are. If you look at the 50 Red Sox, the 50 Red Sox, Let me tell you about the 50 Red Sox. I'm sure Colin Coward's breaking this down today. The 50, laugh, Eddie. The 50 Red Sox, the Red Sox in 50 won 94 games. The Yankees won 98. All right, the 50 Red Sox had Walt Dropo at first base. He had 34 homers, 144 RBIs. They had Bobby Doerr at second. He had 27, 120. They had Vern Stevens at short. He had 30 homers, 144 RBIs. They had Dom DiMaggio hit 328 in center field. They had Ted Williams, who only played 334 games. Williams in 50, he had 28 homers and 97 RBIs, and that's a hell of a lot. But they never had the pitching. They had Mel Parnell, Kinder, and Dobson. Now, if you look at the 49 Red Sox, that's the team that should never have lost. The 49 Red Sox. I'm going to look at that right now for you. Yankees won 97. They won 96. The 49 Red Sox. Williams, 43 homers, 159 RBIs. DiMaggio hit 307. I don't know what the run scored was, but hit 307. They had a good third. They had a good right fielder in Al Zurillo. How many for DiMaggio? 126 runs scored for DiMaggio. They had Johnny Pesky at short who hit 306. Led the league in assists. They had Stevens. Pesky played third. They had Stevens at short. 39 homers, 159 RBI. Think about it. They had Stevens in 49. He had 39 homers, 159 RBIs, hit 290. And they had Williams right behind him, who hit 342 with 42 homers, 159 RBIs as well. Not to mention Doerr, who had 18 homers, 109 RBIs. And that is a hell of a baseball team. And the Yankees beat them. And then in 46, with the Red Sox, when they were very, very good, the Red Sox in 1946, folks, were 104 and 50. All right? The Red Sox had Rudy York, 17 homers, 119 RBIs. Doerr had 18, 116. Williams had his typical 342 batting average, 38, 123. And they had power throughout that lineup and very good pitching. Very good pitching. I mean, they should have won so many freaking championships. They didn't do it, though. And they lost that 47 World Series. That's baseball. That's baseball, my friends. The late 40 Yankees and Red Sox. You don't know that, you don't know baseball. Now, if you look at 67, the Red Sox only won 92 games. Now, if you look at 77, all right, now 77, both teams are pretty good. I'm going to look at it right now. In 77, the Red Sox, this is before the 78. In 77, the Yankees won 97 and 62. No, I'm sorry, that's 76. In 77, the Yankees were good in 76. In 77, he obviously got to the World Series. In 77, that's Billy Morton's favorite team. In 77, the Red Sox that year, the Yankees won 100 and the Red Sox won 97. So did the Orioles. The Red Sox in 77, had George Scott, Doyle, Burleson, Hobson in the infield, Carbo, Lynn, Yaz in the outfield, Rice to DH, and Fisk Court. That's 3 Hall of Famers on the team. Ferguson Jenkins among the pitchers with Tion. That's a pretty good team. Now in 78, which is the year that we've been talking about a lot today, the 78 Red Sox, you want to talk about a lineup? The 78 Red Sox, who won 99 games that year. Scott had a bad year. Remy, 280 at second base, excellent player. Burleson, excellent shortstop. Hobson, 17 homers, 80 RBIs. Evans and Wright, Lynn in center. Rice won the MVP. Fisk and Yaz. That's 3 Hall of Famers on the team. That is a hell of a team. If you want to count, you can say 4 Hall of Famers. Eckersley pitched. That 78 team was a good team. The 78 Yankees, of course, with Chambliss, Randolph, Dent, Nettles, Reggie, Rivers, Pinella, Munson. That was a great team. Yankees always had a little bit of pitching than the Red Sox. And it's the famous line that Yogi Berra always told me. Yogi Berra. Yeah, and Rizzuto, too. The both of them. Always. Always. These are 2 great Yankees now. Hall of Famers. I had them on a million times, especially Scooter. A million times. Always told me that DiMaggio was interested in winning and Williams was interested in hitting. And that's why the Yankees always beat the Red Sox. Now, they're prejudiced. They're biased. But that's what both of them always told me that. Rizzuto especially. Always said that. Take it for what it's worth. As Steve and Gary Williams are still tracking down that 91 Final Four to make sure Carolina and Duke didn't play. We continue here on a busy program at 15 after the hour. We're back right after.